fans, you've just about made it through on penalties against Porto into the Champions League quarter-finals. Can you go all the way? Could you win both? The double is on, the Premier League and the Champions League. Wow, 03 717 22 33 44.
Hit the like button, by the way, people. Subscribe, turn on bell notifications, but go and check out my new channel, The Squad. Brand new content coming soon. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link below. Scrape through Arsenal, according to Jamie O'Hara here.
Made it a bit more difficult than was necessary. Penalties tonight. I tell you what, lucky you've got brilliant penalty takers, and David Raya tonight showed that he's brilliant at penalties as well. You can have your say on it though. I thought it was a poor performance from Arsenal. 03 717 22
I bet he thought it was a poor performance.
3 44.
Just rip up by has anyone seen for Arsenal?
That's what it is. They had it ready. Has anyone seen? It was like, you know, I don't know who supports Arsenal. Jeremy Corbyn. Has anybody seen Piers Morgan? That is what they were. That's why they're bitter. Look, Arsenal were not liquid gold last night. They didn't win 4 or 5-0. But this spinning of the notion that, oh my God, they were lucky, they were dreadful. No, Porto were excellent. Let's not discredit Porto here.
You Gooners were lucky.
Oh, you were
Honestly,
lucky.
I was out there gargling.
You was.
Ready to put in a display that you've never seen before. Has anyone seen?
Has anyone seen? Was absolutely sensational being lined up.
Don't worry,
He's
it's still
gutted.
there. It's still there, mate.
That's all it is. Genuinely, people say that I said people do punditry on Arsenal based on hate, and they think I make this up. You can hear it here.
It's logged. It's in a
It's all fun and games for them. It's also a lot of it's fun and games for me. Just learn to give and take.
file.
Yeah.
I'll drag it out when they eventually get
It
knocked
is.
out.
We filed it. Gunnosaurus was definitely going to get it tonight, mate. But look, let's get straight into it. No messing about tonight.
Yep.
Obviously, Arsenal have got through. James, what did you make of the performance?
They made hard work of it. Credit to Porto. They made life difficult. I was expecting a fast start from Arsenal. I expected Arsenal to come out and almost blitz them.
Do you know what's interesting, though? Jason Cundy has slammed Arsenal fans in the weeks leading up to this, stating they were going to beat them easily. So the Arsenal fans have said that. I agree. We're absolutely wrong. Cundy slammed those fans for saying that. And then today, he's saying, oh, I thought Arsenal were going to smash them. Make it make sense.
Pens, mate.
Yeah,
literally
50-50.
I think Arsenal will be disappointed in the performance, but you know what? It's all about the result.
Yeah.
In the hat, mate, for the next round. They'll be there Friday.
The coin toss was everything.
Yes, it was. Well,
he won it that way to have the pens against with his fans, and then he won it to get it first as well.
But
so
how
important.
good was Raul?
Yeah, really.
Honestly, he could have
good.
saved 3, by the way. He got his fingers to another one of those.
I've never really seen him do a penalty shootout.
No.
So it was the first time, because we was having a discussion thinking,
Yeah.
did they put Ramsdale
Yeah,
on?
that come up in conversation.
You know,
Well, that come up everywhere. And I think that the media outlets set that conversation up during extra time so that if Arsenal didn't win on penalties, they would have the narrative of they should have subbed on Ramsdale. We can see through you.
you put Ramsdale on
That's
because
a
you know
brave
he's going to
move.
pen.
That's
but
a brave move. Now,
yeah.
credit to them. And every Arsenal penalty was on point.
Yeah, they
So,
were.
yeah, got through it, mate. You need a little bit of good fortune to win this cup. You know,
True.
the best side doesn't
Very true.
always win it. You need a little bit of the rub of the green. And going to penalties tonight, fair play. They held their nerve.
I
Every
think they're
pen
the
was-
worst team that have got through to the quarterfinal.
Oh my God! The worst team. Jamie O'Hara thinks Arsenal are the worst team in the quarterfinal. What is he? What is he basing that on? Come on, that is just Spurs bitterness. That is Spurs bit. Oh, sorry, I've moved the counter now. I need to get back to where it was. That was crazy.
Atmosphere extra time. No, we're not on the
Let's go back to what you said.
To Michael, who's an Arsenal
Hang on, I've gone too far.
fortunate to win this cup. You know, the best
There you
side
go.
doesn't always win it. You need a little bit of the rub of the green. And going to penalties tonight, fair play. They held their nerve.
I
Every
think they're
pen
the
was-
worst team that have got through to the quarterfinal.
Wow.
The worst.
They're the worst
The
team in the
worst.
quarterfinal, yeah.
The worst.
They are. They are. You look at the other teams, mate, I think... Yeah,
I don't know, mate.
After watching them tonight...
Do you know what,
Didn't
right?
think they were great.
Arsenal weren't great tonight, but they made it through. And that's absolutely
Yeah,
crucial.
Cundy's right there. That Jamie O'Hara's projecting. Of course, they're not the favourites. They're not second favourites. Probably not in third or fourth favourites. But the idea they're the worst team. Dortmund and PSV play today. Come on now. Just absolute bitterness.
Yeah, you got bodied from.
He's missed the
What?
penalty. Oh my
No.
fucking God, he's missed the penalty.
No.
David Raya has had a masterclass in this shootout. He's had a masterclass. Is that a
Fucking
masterclass?
through. They're through, man. Fucking wasted 4 hours of my life.
Look, I know I have a laugh and a joke about the Arsenal hate, and I know that Lee Gunner and people call me out for it. What's the title going to be today? But it's people literally do hate alongs, not a watch along, a hate along. And then when I say there's the Arsenal hate is real, he gave up 4 hours of his time. I see a lot more people now doing rival content, obviously inspired by moi, but that's a joke, by the way, for anyone who's triggered in the back. But it's a case of they're doing hate-alongs. They're gutted when Arsenal win. And then I say, I think people really hate Arsenal. And it's, oh, Terry, you're obsessed. You're obsessed. You're obsessed.
Let's go! Come on!
Why am I playing this? This is Arsenal celebrating at the end. I'll tell you why I'm playing this. I'll tell you why I'm playing it. Spurs fan, man like Dizzy, comes on the show. Says, this is how I would expect Luton to react to scraping a win over Porto to only pass the round of 16. But big Arsenal, you know, is what he says. First of all, you're from America, so don't say, you know. It's not an American thing. Right? Don't do it. Secondly, Spurs in September had a lap of honor with their kids. This is what I mean by the banter. I love you, Dan. You're a great young man. You're a great young man. But why don't people know how to banter anymore? You can't banter when you've done the same thing. It's like throwing a stone in a glass house. You can't do it, mate. What are you doing? And celebration. But Arsenal win a game, and the celebration police are back out almost instantly.
Quarterfinals, yeah.
Listen to Richard Keys' voice. If you can't hear it, turn it up a little bit. Richard Keys is fuming. Yeah, last tape. Yeah.
That's it. You know how to celebrate a win, don't they, Arsenal?
Jason McAteer, did you hear him? Oh no, the bitterness.
Don't they, Arsenal?
Look what he says. He said they know how to celebrate a win. Arsenal are doing nothing different here to any other team that wins a knockout round of the Champions League. They all give shirts to the fans. They all cuddle each other, especially after penalty shootouts. This punditry, this bitterness is a madness. And I don't care how many of you unsubscribe. I don't care how many of you say X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to stand there and watch this narrative be created about Arsenal or any other team. If it was anybody else, they'd be waxing lyrical. This is amazing.
Oh, they've gone.
Arsenal didn't really struggle, though. They struggled to get more goals because Porto were excellent. And the fact that's being ignored, listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. These people need, listen, I'll let Michael Jordan say it.
Stop it. Get some help.
What's happened? Why are they giving them stick? You're not that heavy critical, are you?
Only as much as you guys are. I mean, look, if players don't play well and performances are bad, managers, players, that's what we do. I mean, that's what I grew up with, going to matches and watching TV and no difference. It's a load of nonsense, actually, because that interview actually took quite a long time to arrange. It was at Carrington. All the players, all the club, the manager, everyone was fully aware of it. I don't know what it was like in your days, lads, but when you've got media commitments, it's not a secret that a journalist comes in and does an interview with a player. So it's just another weird leak from Manchester United, another weird story out of there, because it's almost like we kidnapped Rasmus and did an interview behind the player's back.
I saw this story the other day, and I kind of kept quiet about it for a bit because I wanted to wait for the dust to settle. But it's really interesting that some journalists came out and leaked information that Man United players were really angry at Rasmus Højlund for doing the interview with the United Stand. So then everybody that hates the United Stand jumped on the pylon and said, yeah, disgraceful football club, get them out. The only element I kind of disagree a little bit with Goldbridge on at the beginning of what he said here is he probably does use words and expletives that journalists wouldn't, but that's because he's not a journalist. He's a fan from a fan channel. But the way I see other fans online going in on him, when I follow their Twitter accounts, I've seen them say very similar things on Twitter. I've seen them express themselves in similar ways. It now transpires, by the way, that these leaks were real, but they were jovial. So it was players essentially kind of laughing at the idea that he did it and teasing Rasmus as opposed to genuinely being annoyed. So that's crazy. Secondly, the journalistic team that released the story did not at any point reach out to Mark Goldbridge for comment. Now, that's what you're meant to do if you're a credible journalist. You say, look, we've been told X, Y, and Z. Do you care to give us your side of the story? The fact they didn't reach out to him is crazy. And a lot of this boils down to one thing and one thing only, and it's jealousy. And that jealousy is that fan channels and fan media is growing. The amount of you that tell me each day and each week, I prefer to listen to the Football Terrace. I prefer to listen to the United Stand, the Big Six, DR Sports, Never a Foul, Sam on that, This Is Football, whoever it may be, you prefer that because you find it more real and authentic. This is all this is. Now, you don't need to like Mark Goldbridge in the United Stand, but I've seen so many content creators pile on Mark Goldbridge, and I think it's ridiculous. I think some Man United fans especially think, if we can get Mark Goldbridge cancelled, I'll get his followers, or maybe I can step into that breach. And it isn't really going to work like that because Mark Goldbridge is the size that he is, not because we all started this too late. It's because he is the best at doing this. Whether people, you may not like him, but that doesn't stop him from being the best within this industry. And I also heard a few of the journalists that were involved in this story come out and say that the problem is, and this is why I'll defend Mark Goldbridge, because they're not just attacking Mark Goldbridge. Anyone, whether you do Twitter Spaces right through to a YouTuber, they're attacking you as well. And some people are just too silly, in my opinion, to see it, or shrouded with hatred for Goldbridge to see it. But he said something along the lines of this journalist, Andy Minton, who, by the way, is very good. He said the problem is with YouTubers is they can push a story out, give an opinion on it, and then if it turns out they were wrong, they can come out and apologize. And he said, in my line of work, I can't come out and do that. If I get something wrong, I'll lose my job. Well, you're a journalist and we're not claiming to be first and foremost. But the reason why we get things wrong as fans is because of your industry and its stories anyway. And case in point will be this. There's a story today from Samuel Luckhurst that says a source close to Man United players claimed Mount's move to the club was not for football reasons. Now, I read the article. There is no follow-up from that. They said it was to earn more money. They said it was a commercial decision, whatever it may be. There's no substance to this. Now, if lots of Man United fans, and some of them are YouTubers, believe Samuel Luckhurst, okay, hypothetically believe him, and slag off the club and slag off the player, and then in 6 weeks, Samuel Luckhurst puts out an article and says, I got that wrong, it's not true, and then a YouTuber says, I apologize for my outburst, why are we in the wrong? Why are we in the wrong as YouTubers for apologizing for getting something wrong? Yes, sometimes we swear. Yes, sometimes we get angry on watch-alongs and match reactions. No different to every match-going fan in the history of football shouts at the faces of these players. It's no different. It is no different, in my humble opinion. And it's crazy that fans now are being ridiculed for being angry at players and then apologizing later. Because the media, by the way, who are having a go at us are the ones that give us the wrong information. Make that make sense. And I tell you this now. I read a lot of media articles about multiple subjects around the world. When there isn't balance in the article, in terms of if there's a story about Coca-Cola, and at no point in the article does it state they reached out to Coca-Cola for comment, to a degree, I discredit the article instantly. I don't take it seriously. Coca-Cola may refuse to speak, but at least you've done your due diligence, because Coca-Cola might respond and give you answers, and you go, actually, as a journalist, my opinion on the story has changed now that I have this information. But if you're not even reaching out, that for me is ridiculous. That is what I call a hit piece. That is what I call jealousy. And I do say this to people. I know Mark Goldbridge isn't everybody's favorite. I understand that. But if you side with the media in attacking him, you are only going to damage this entire industry. So be careful. It isn't going to benefit you. It isn't going to make you more famous. It isn't going to give you more subscribers. Even if Mark Goldbridge disappeared tomorrow, none of you are taking his place. Genuinely. Michael Jackson hasn't been making albums for a long time, predominantly because he's dead, and hasn't had a great album since the 90s. But nobody's replaced him. The Beatles haven't been relevant as a band for about 4 decades. Nobody's replaced them. Nobody's done what they've done. Mark Goldbridge in this space, whether people like it or not, is the GOAT. In terms of numbers, followers, influence. If he went tomorrow, retired, none of us are taking his place. None of us. Not one single person. So stop the bullshit. Listen, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.